Good day, it's Steve Anderson from the Crown Council and Total Patient Service. Welcome to our webinar today. And as in true fashion, when you're early, you're on time. So thank you for all of those that are already tuned in. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with a few announcements, important things that you need to know. So first off, let me take you to a couple of different places that are important. So I'm going to switch over to my browser here. If you go to crowncouncil.com, not crowncouncil.org, but crowncouncil.com, you're going to see a new front to the website and an assignment to go ahead and log in. This is a new platform that we're transitioning to. Will be fully transitioned over by the end of March. So when you click on here, you can follow these instructions. And this is open to everybody who is attending today. So there's several different options here. So we challenge you and encourage you to go to crowncouncil.com, get signed into the new platform. The recording of this webinar will be on crowncouncil.com. So you're going to want to sign in and make sure you have 100% access there. Second thing is on that website, if you click on annual events, we have just finished the 27th annual event that we had here in Dallas, Texas. It was amazing. And we also announced the 28th annual event, which will be held at the Grand America Hotel, which is one of the most amazing places I have ever been in my life. And that will be next year in January in Salt Lake City, Utah. So you can go to the annual event tab. It'll give you all of the information and registration, the whole deal. We are already almost full. And so I would recommend you go ahead and get signed up now so you can save your seat. Next thing is if you go to smilesforlife.org, the Smiles for Life whitening campaign is about ready to launch on March 1st. So those of you that have signed up for that, the commitment from Ultradent, which Ultradent supplies all the whitening materials. Ultradent's commitment to all of us is that they will have all those whitening materials to your office if you have ordered them through the website. That they will have those to you by March 1st. So if you've ordered them and you haven't received them yet, not to panic. They are on their way, and they will be there presently. So if you have any questions, any other questions about the Smiles for Life whitening campaign, you can give the Crown Council team a call, or I'll tell you another really cool thing. If you go to the website and you go ahead and log in, there is, in fact, even just on the homepage, you can click on this little bubble right here, and the team is there, and you can live chat, and they'll be happy to answer your questions. So plenty going on there, and we're excited about this year's whitening campaign, as well as some other very cool announcements that are all about the Smiles for Life Foundation. So anyway, hope those announcements are helpful. We are now almost at the top of the hour, and thanks for joining us today. Again, I'm Steve Anderson, and with me today presenting our Stop Cancellations webinar is the president of Total Patient Service, Pam Peterson. Pam and I have worked together for many, many years, and she is the topic expert for today, as well as the topic expert on many, many, many things. So Pam, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here.
And, we're excited to have you, and we have a lot of content to cover today. So if you're watching, what I would encourage you to do, there's two things. At the end of the program, we'll give you a link so that you can download some support materials. So make sure that you stay till the very end, because we'll give you a QR code where you can download that, as well as if you want CE credit for today, that will also be available. So if you have questions as well, in the question box, the question or the control panel on your screen, in the question area, you're welcome to put any questions in there you would like. And there will be several interactive polls today. So make sure you keep your eyes on the screen. We're going to ask you for some responses as we go along today to keep this interactive. So you should be able to hear us. We of course can't hear you, so that we don't have any background noise. So the question box is the best place to interact. So with that, off we go. For starters, if you're like most, your schedule many days, if not most days, may seem like this. It may seem like a train wreck. And a lot of that, I think, in what we're experiencing today, in the practices that we work with at the Total Patient Service Institute and Crown Council practices, there is a bigger challenge today holding the schedule together and just creating a productive schedule every day. And so that is the purpose of this webinar, with all the things that you can do to create and maintain a productive schedule every day, so you don't have this, so you don't have a train wreck of a schedule. So with that, here's kind of a quick list of today's current scheduling challenges. Last minute COVID cancellations. As we know, people that call and say they're sick or have a fever or coughing or whatever, that continues to plague our schedules all over dentistry. Last minute mock COVID cancellations. So whether it really is or isn't, it can tend to be the excuse of the day today. No shows, staffing challenges, just keeping the office staffed and everybody healthy and making sure all those positions are filled on a daily basis. The PPE impact on the whole schedule flow, making sure that everybody's protected all the time, and sometimes that's slowing things down, so that puts some stress on the schedule. Delayed treatment emergencies, so patients that maybe haven't been in for a while and now they have an emergency because of that neglect, and they're trying to get back on the schedule. Just continued conversations around patient safety and COVID, all of those things. Relaxed screening discipline. There's all these issues today, and we get it. I think all of us would agree, we're done with the whole COVID thing, right? In terms of just having to deal with this now. For 2 years, we've been dealing with this. So those are just some of the current challenges. There's more. And so with all of that as a backdrop, we know that those of you that are handling the schedule, and that is everybody here, it's a whole team. It is a team sport, keeping the schedule productive. Pam has a top 10 list. So Pam, this is the Pam Peterson's top 10 worst provider comments about a less than optimal schedule. All right, so Pam, go for it.
Great. It was great creating this list, getting feedback from doctors all around the country. All right, let's start with number 10. Nobody cares about my schedule. Number 9. Who scheduled all of this? Number 8. This schedule has me running from room to room and I can't get anything done today. Number 7. What made you think I could do this procedure first thing in the morning? Number 6. I guess we won't be having lunch today. Number 5. Is there any production on the schedule today? Any at all? Number 4. I guess you think I could be in 4 places at one time. Number 3. Why would you schedule treatment in 2 rooms at the same time? Number 2. Whomever scheduled this did not allot enough time for me. Now I'm going to run behind all day long. And the number 1 provider comment of a less than optimal schedule is, why in the world did you schedule all of these fillings all morning long?
Well, it may have been the only thing we could find. All right, I'm sure you could add your own little beautiful comments to this list. So we know how challenging it is, and one of the key things about today's course content is this is a team effort. It is not just about whoever is at the front. It is a whole team effort. We'll talk about everybody's participation in the whole scheduling process. So you're going to want to share this with your entire team. This is being recorded, and we will send you the link to the recorded version so that you can share this with your entire team so that everybody can play. All right, so with that, what hasn't changed? What has not changed in dentistry and in our world? So I have a quick survey here. There's a quick poll. So here comes the poll. And the poll, here's what the poll, here are your questions. Is which professional in your town has no problems with cancellation? So you get to vote on what you think. What do you think is the, here's your choices: primary care physician, hair salon stylist, proctologist, or the dog groomer. Pam wanted me to put the mortician on this list. Thanks, Pam. But I chose not to put the mortician on there.
Good choice.
No problems with cancellations there. We need to cancel the few. Well, you know, there was some of that during COVID. Yeah, the Zoom funeral. Okay, everybody gets to vote. A bad weather day. Gonna postpone that one. Okay. All right, keep the votes coming. We're almost there. I can see if you're voting or not. So make sure you get rolling here. Your votes will be counted, and then we'll show you the we will show you the results. All right, we're almost there. Just a couple more of you. This is great. You guys are doing awesome. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close it. Thanks for voting. We're gonna have more of these. Okay, so here's the results. 67% of you voted for the hairstylist, 25% of you for the dog groomer. Pam, we have some dog lovers in the room on the web, just like you. Physician 6%, and the proctologist. Yeah, so and actually the dog groomer, I'm loving the dog groomer. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, for sure, it's the hairstylist, Pam. Pam, have you ever canceled your hair appointment?
Never. It'll be forever. Yes, you can't get me back in.
That's right. They make you pay big time if you don't show up, not with money, but with pain and suffering, right?
Yes. Yes. Great.
Okay. So here's a couple of rules. I'm just going to share these real quick about what hasn't changed. So here's the first one: is patients don't come trained. In other words, you can't expect them to respect your schedule, because in most other places in healthcare, their schedule is not respected. And so we got to walk them through kind of a training process so that they understand how you interact with your patients and what's expected when people come to your practice. So don't get frustrated with your patients until you put all of these things in place so that they're trained. Here's a second reminder: is we teach people how to treat us, right? We can't expect them just to know. We have to walk them through training by example. We teach them how to treat us. And then finally, is people are people. There's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be, no matter all of the things that we put in place that we'll talk about today, there's always going to be exceptions. There is no 100% hard, fast rule, and the things that we'll add to the equation today will help minimize and help keep the schedule under more control. So who's at risk? Who are the patients that are at highest risk of canceling? New patients, because they're anonymous. If they don't show up, you won't recognize them at the grocery store, so they know they're very, very high risk. Hygiene patients, because there is still lingering attitudes in the patient population that it's just a cleaning. That has changed with what we know in science today, that it's not just a cleaning. It's one of the most important health maintenance activities in which you can engage today. So that, if you have attended our No More Hygiene course at Total Patient Service, we talk about all the verbal skills in hygiene to keep your patients coming back on a regular basis and being very, very, very strict about keeping their hygiene schedule. Financial flu patients. So these are the ones that they get up in the morning of and they're sick. And it's not because they're physically sick, it's because they're sick. that they have to pay all that money. We will deal with financial flu today. Every patient today that's on your schedule is high risk just because of everything that's going on. And so those are just a few of the things that of the patient categories. We got to deal with all of them today, and we're going to talk about two areas. We're going to talk about what you can do to prevent scheduling interruptions, and then after that, we will talk about first aid, or the things that you can do in the heat of the moment that will save an appointment and when those things come up. So prevention. Pam, you can kick us off with our first prevention suggestion.
All right. So the first prevention is, this is a team effort. It doesn't matter what position you hold in the practice. Every position helps and supports stopping cancellations. So it's not just the business team members, although I know they feel that way often. It's the entire practice. And there's some verbal skill that go with that I'm going to share with you next. The first is, patients place as much importance on their appointment as you do. And what we know, what best practices do, next slide please, is they keep score. And I'm not just talking about keeping score of how many patients canceled and how many no-show. I know that you do a really good job of identifying that. What we're talking about today is we are equipping you in your toolbox on great verbal skills, how to stop cancellations. So now we're keeping score on saved appointments. So when you arrive at your morning opportunity meeting in the morning, you're going to say, yesterday we had 2 patients that called to cancel and we saved those 2 appointments. And together as a team, you will celebrate that success. So now we keep score on what you're doing well.
All right, Pam, we have another poll if everyone is ready. So this poll is what is one of the best cancellation prevention techniques for new patients. So before you present this, here we go. Everybody gets to vote. Here are your options. Charge a fee for canceling, double book, text, email, and call repeatedly, where the doctor calls all new patients to welcome them to the practice. All right, so you can go ahead and vote. Man, you guys are on it. This is so good. Everybody's hot on the trigger today, Pam. This is great.
I like the text, email repeatedly. It's like harassment.
It's going on. While we're finishing, I have to tell you, I was interacting with a telephone service company. So they're the ones that connect up telephone service, and they had in their service protocol, they had one of the steps was the dentist call. It isn't a phone company, and they call it the dentist call as part of their protocol. And so when I asked them what the dentist was, they said, well, that, like the dentist, they always call you before your appointment, like they just keep calling. So you make sure they said, yeah, so we do that to make everybody shows up to connect all the phones, the dentist call. Okay, thanks for voting. I'm going to close. I'm going to share the results. So you voted, 2% of you said double book. 6% said text, email, and call repeatedly, just badger them to death. Charge a fee for canceling, and 80% of you, bam, the doctor calls new patients to welcome them into the practice. So we have, Pam, some folks that have done this before. So
absolutely.
Here we go.
I love it.
So here is the protocol, Pam.
All right, doctor call all new patients. Now, the system prior to that is we want to make it easy for your doctors. There's 2 ways to do it. The first way is for a business team member to print tomorrow's schedule, highlight all of the new patients on the schedule, make sure that there is a good phone number by each patient's name, hand it to the doctor in the morning, and then the following day, the doctor will report his or her success as far as contacting all of the new patients. The second way is, I know many of you are working with a TOPS practice advisor. A TOPS practice advisor would recommend that you grab all of the new patient relationship forms, hand them to the doctor because it has this information on it, which is the patient's name and a good contact number. And the doctor will do the same thing, report back the following day that every patient has been contacted. Now that is a system that we have to make it really easy for the doctors. Now I know the next thing you're thinking is, well, what do they say to the patients? I know it's going to be awkward. Well, we got you covered. Next slide, Steve.
All right, so just one reminder. So actually two things I'm gonna just say. One, again, this is just for new patients. So not all patients, new patients. It does not replace anything else you're doing. So they're still gonna get their text message and they're still gonna get all those things you keep in place. This is a welcome call. It's a VIP greeting by the doctor, proven to dramatically increase show rates for new patients. Proven. So many of you I know are aware of this, and if you are aware of it, then I would say, to what degree are you actually executing it? We measure this, and there is always an uptick in the show rate for new patients when this is in place and done consistently. So here's the dialogue. If you have to leave a message, what I would say if I were the doctor, I would say, Mrs. Peterson, Pam, you get to be my patient.
Yes.
If I'm leaving a message, I would say, Ms. Peterson, this is Dr. Anderson, and I'm looking forward to meeting you during your appointment tomorrow at 3 o'clock in our office. And I wanted to personally let you know that we'll have everything here ready to go for you when you arrive. And if there's anything that would be helpful for us to know before you come in that would make your visit more comfortable, please give our office a call at 777-7777. We're here from 7 to 7. No, you don't have to do that part. Otherwise, we look forward to meeting you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We'll see you then.
Perfect.
Now, Pam, what's the underlying message here?
Is the doctor knows where I live. And it also, yeah, it also sends a good message. It's like, this office is unique, because how many doctors actually call and welcomes a patient? Very few.
Yep. The message is you're not anonymous, and you're a VIP in our practice, not just another chart. So we're going to go through a lot of verbal skills here in the next few minutes. When we get done, I'll give you the link to the download that has all these verbal skills. So hang tight for those, and we'll share that shortly. All right, so Pam, then the next prevention suggestion here, and this is with all patients, especially patients that are going to have future restorative work done, is what the doctor says, chairside.
Okay. I'll be your patient.
So if you were the patient and you had just accepted treatment and we were going to move ahead, then Pam, what I would say to you is, I would say, Pam, we want to make sure we do everything to help you get the outcome that you want, right? That we've just talked about. So I want you to know that we're committed to helping you through the treatment in a timely and comfortable way. In order to do that, okay, let me pause here. Here's some of the most powerful words I know. I need your help.
Okay.
Would you help me, Pam?
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Well, in order to help you get everything you want and to make sure that your appointments, we need to make sure that your appointments are scheduled when you have, and I put this in yellow, you have the least likelihood of any type of a delay or interruption in your schedule, so that nothing stands in the way of what we talked about today. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. Now, again, doctor's saying this because this is coming from the authority figure in the practice. When I say it, then if the doctor says it, it has, it's got some weight, right? The last part of it is, so Pam, if you'll work here with Desiree, our appointment coordinator, then to get everything scheduled, we will make sure that we stay committed to the schedule that the two of you put together to make sure everything happens as planned. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
That's our commitment to you. So those are some suggested, again, anytime we're going to schedule something that is where the patient's coming back, then this is highly recommended, so that the patient understands how important the scheduling piece of this is, that it's not just a revolving door practice and whoever shows up. But yeah, it's important for us that you show up, and everything that I've just shared, it's all patient benefit. It's all patient benefit. What their treatment, getting the result they want, we're working together, but it's patient benefit, right? All focused on the patient. All right, so next one, Pam, let's move over to the hygiene room. So same thing with, keeping the hygiene schedule on track. So We recommend, if it's at all possible, to schedule the next hygiene visit chairside. If you're doing that, that's what we recommend, rather than running the risk of then going up front and not getting scheduled. So if you can do it chairside, that's great. And we always say, Pam, that your practice ought to be like the Hotel California. You remember that song from the Eagles?
Yes.
It's classic.
You can
Check out anytime you want, but you will never leave this practice because you will always have your next scheduled appointment before you leave. So Pam, what would be, if you were the hygienist and I were the patient, what would be the chairside conversation regarding my next appointment?
All right, so with hygienists, you have leverage. Patients listen to you. And when Steve mentioned earlier that cancellations is a team effort and we teach patients how to treat our practice. So it would sound like this. If it's a good appointment visit where everything is in good standing, of course you would congratulate your patient. I would say, congratulations, Steve. If there's some areas that the doctor have found that need attention, you would start the conversation out with, Steve, here's what we found today that needs some work. Now, what will follow either of those is the best insurance policy we have to stay on track with your home care so that nothing stands in the way of your regularly scheduled appointment is that whenever I schedule an appointment with you, I block that time especially for you to make sure that nothing gets in the way. May I make a suggestion for you, Steve?
Yes.
Would you do the same with your schedule as I'm doing with ours so that any unlikely hood that something comes up, you can actually let them know that you have a commitment? Would you do that?
Yes. Now, Pam, I'm going to highlight this way. This is deeply rooted in proven psychology. I'm not going to give you the whole backstory on this. We didn't just think this up and put it on a slide. This goes back to some highly researched psychology where you're actually pre-programming someone on how to respond if something comes up that interferes with this commitment, right? So this piece where it says that way, if a potential conflict comes up, you can tell them that you have a prior commitment. That's a proven technique. So you're programming them that this is their highest priority and that they're going to put this above anything else that might come up. So along with then, once we've had that conversation, then we always want to make sure that whoever else is involved on the team, that there's an unending continuous link, that we're linking up the relationship all the way through the practice so that all the communication is consistent from one team member to the next. And there's a whole body of work around this. So if I'm having the conversation in the restorative room, then we want to make sure and link that up with whoever's going to schedule the appointment, whoever the treatment coordinator is, to repeat everything that we've talked about so that everybody's on the same page. We had to do a whole webinar just on that, Pam.
Yes, this saves time and it takes care of patients.
Okay, Pam, you ready to have some fun?
Yes.
We are going to talk about scheduling hacks.
All
So
right.
you have, I think there's like 9 of these, right?
I believe so.
These are 9 scheduling hacks for today's dental world. So get these hacks under your belt and it will make scheduling so much easier. Some of them you'll be very aware of. Some of them may be new to you. So get ready. So there's 9 of them that are tactical that you can use to keep your schedule under control. All right, Pam, hack number 1.
Right. So hack number 1, manage your schedule so your schedule doesn't manage you. I want you to think of your schedule as if it's a toddler. Neither of them should be left unattended. Next slide, please.
Really?
Yes.
This is my baby.
Well, you wouldn't leave. Well, if you do leave a toddler unattended,
No,
you know
you never leave it.
what happen. Same thing with your schedule.
Baby schedule. You're gonna name it? Okay, so here's one of the verbiages.
All right, the verbiage would be when I'm talking to you, Steve, I'll use you as my patient. Steve, what day of the week Monday through Thursday, do you have the most control over, or you have the least likelihood of any interruptions in your schedule? And wait for the patient to respond.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday, great. So if you have Tuesday that you have control over, that's what I would schedule.
Got it. Okay, so that piece right there, what day of the week, Monday through, so you give them the range. So if you're open Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, Monday through Thursday, whatever. So which day of the week, Monday through Thursday, do you have the most control over, where you get the least likelihood of any type of interruption in your schedule, right? So that's the key verbal skill there, so that we're working with and we're giving them some control, right? So you give them the day range, and then that gives them some level of control of when we schedule it. Say what we never say, Pam. What we never say is, Pam, when would you like to come? When would you like to schedule this?
Thursday night.
Oh no, we're not open.
Friday.
We're done at 3 on Thursday.
Oh, Friday.
No, we're not open Friday.
Saturday?
No, we're not open Saturday. In fact, we're not open much at all.
Oh.
So, so you don't leave it wide open. You give them the range so they've got some control, and then we're off and running, right?
Yes, one other thing, you have control over the range. I use Monday through Thursday. If your schedule's wide open Monday through Wednesday, that's the range you would give. Know your schedule. Remember the toddler, you have to pay attention to it. So if I have Monday through Wednesday, that's what I would offer Steve to select from those 3 days.
So can I say, Pam, which day, Monday through Monday, would work the best for you?
Well, you know what, Steve? There are practices that may have this struggle. I would say, Steve, what time on Mondays do you have the most?
There you go. That's perfect.
Early morning or late morning. So I would
it.
actually still give them a choice, but not a chance.
Yeah,
But
you got the range. So you control it by giving me what the available options are. Okay, this one is one of my favorites. If you use appointment cards, which we still recommend, even though you're going to do text and all of those things, still they need something that we hope that when I do mine, Pam, I put it right on my schedule on my phone, and the team still hands me a card. Nice. Right at the same time. So if you're using appointment cards, here is the science behind this. You hand the blank appointment card to the patient with a pen. So you're going to let them fill it out. And there's some psychology behind this as well, which is if they fill it out, then they tend to take it more seriously than if you fill it out. So you fill it out, and here's some suggested verbiage. There's some really bad verbiage on appointment cards that has crept into the companies that provide those. And that verbiage that is problematic is the verbiage that has to do with cancellations. It's got all this cancellation verbiage on it. It's like, if you cancel 24 hours before your appointment, then we're going to charge you and take your firstborn child. And blah, blah. So it invites them to cancel. So instead, this is the recommended verbiage that we suggest that you put on your appointment card that says, please mark this important appointment on your calendar today. We look forward to seeing you at this time that has been reserved especially for you, right? That's different. So that stresses the importance, but we're not even suggesting the word cancellation. In fact, Pam, I'd like to just suggest that you ban the word cancellation from your practice altogether. No one is allowed to use the word in your practice.
Let's do it. Yes, because we're teaching the people.
So that'd be a suggestion for your appointment card, just to upgrade that verbiage if you haven't done so already. Okay, so next question is to ask the patient which method of communication between your appointments. So what I would say to you, Pam, is, Pam, between appointments, when we're communicating with you, which method of communication do you prefer? Do we call you, text you, or email, or send a carrier pigeon?
Text messaging works really well for me, Steve.
You got it. All right. So you're a text person. Yeah. Great. So periodically, Pam, you may receive text messages from us with updates on your next appointment. And I'm going to talk about this in just a minute, some words that you are not going to use. So I'll come back to that in just a minute. So This is what we say as a courtesy, Pam. We'll send you periodic messages before your appointment. Will that be okay with you?
Absolutely.
Here is the suggested text message. So there's a lot of different platforms today that have, they have kind of preloaded verbiage. We suggest you take control of your verbiage so it's correct based on sound psychological principles. So this would be, if you're going to send a text message about Pam's appointment or my appointment, have said, Steve, your appointment is at 9:30 a.m. on Monday, February 28th. We're looking forward to seeing you then. Okay, statement of fact, right? So again, this is what we recommend. You may choose to do it differently. This is what we recommend. Again, you're not putting cancellation language in there, any of that. We still have a lot of practices that are putting the COVID language in there, and so again, totally up to you. But there is a message that you're sending about your safety protocols and everything when you do this. But that's the suggested message. All right, hack number 2, Pam. This one's plan ahead, right? So this is one of my favorites that we've implemented in a lot of practices around the country, especially now because of everything that's going on. And it's what we call excitement calls. So these are not confirmation calls. They're not reminder calls. These are actually excitement calls that, especially for patients that maybe haven't been in a while. So especially on the hygiene schedule, is 2 weeks out. Okay, so 2 weeks out, Pam, you would get a call from me, your hygienist.
Okay.
And even if I left a message, it might even be a text message that says, hey, Pam, I am really looking forward to your visit, your next hygiene visit in 2 weeks, on the 6th of March or whenever it is. And I have some exciting new information I can't wait to share with you. We'll see you then, right? So it's not it's just, I'm keeping her in the loop, right? I'm just touching base, but to let her know that we've got her on the radar. It's just it is a reminder, but it's not. And I do have something exciting that I'm going to share with her. So one recommendation, especially for the hygiene department, Dr. Tommy Neighbors and I every week do a Notes from No More Hygiene video and email that we send out across dentistry that has something each week, something brand new that has to do with periodontal disease and whole health or oral health and total health that you can share with your patients. The one that we will send out this week has to do with a study that was just released yesterday from NYU that has to do with the connection between vaping and your oral health, periodontal disease, and your entire immune system. So if you stay, you can subscribe to that if you go to nomorehygiene.com. So just go to nomorehygiene.com and it's the first thing that pops up. You can subscribe to that. And then every week you'll have something new that you can share with your patients, or when you do your excitement calls, you got something that, yeah, I'm excited to share with you this new information, because you will always have some great new information to share with them. All right, Pam, hack number 3.
All right, hack number 3. The unexpected will always happen. Just expect it. I know that when you come to work, some days you'll leave and everything's perfect. You come to work the next day and it's not perfect. So make sure that you keep a healthy ASAP list as soon as possible. I know many of you have a soon as possible list, and there are practices that sometimes allow this to fall to the wayside. You want to make sure that this stays healthy and have patients on it that have given you permission to reach out to them in the event there's a change in your schedule. You have a lot of patients that have flexibility in their schedule, especially now, and could easily come up a little bit sooner than where you've scheduled them. And there is verbiage for that. There's a key system that we talk about with the ASAP list. When practices schedule fall apart and they panic, it's because they don't have a plan. When you have a plan, you don't panic. And so, great verbal skills and how to reach out to your patient. Next slide, Steve, is whether it's an email, phone call, or text message, you simply follow up with the patient, and it's as simple as, Steve, we have an opportunity to take care of your tooth on the upper left tomorrow at 9 a.m. will this still work for you? Because Steve and I had already talked about it, because I let him know that in the event that we have a change in our schedule, is it okay if I reach out to you to come in sooner? And of course, Steve said yes. So he's on my ASAP list. And it's
Now, Pam,
important.
what it doesn't say, Pam, we have had a cancellation today. Can you come in?
No bueno.
No.
And when Steve takes that appointment, take him off the ASAP list and keep that list nice and healthy, because I know many of you are having to schedule patients pretty far out, and those are the patients that you could bring up when your schedule has an unexpected change. One last thing, and I know that I will get stoned by students at Eagle U for saying this. When you text, please write it out. Don't do acronyms or just letters. Write it out as if you were writing a proper email. This is a business, and you want to make sure that you represent, and you represent really well.
You got it. Okay, so Pam, we have a question from Sarah Pohl, and Sarah said, what about HIPAA? Should we not talk about treatment? Okay, so this is in a text message. Any thoughts about that?
If that is the case, it's a text message, and of course it's to the patient and it's their phone. I know that HIPAA, there's a lot of language that gives you permission to communicate directly to the patient. And if that is a concern for you, then I would say it as simple as this: Chris, we have an opportunity in our schedule that you and I spoke about. Can you give me a call so I can let you know what's available? And then of course you place the number there and then sign it.
So again, as far as the whole HIPAA thing goes, there's one word, Pam, that's repeated, I believe, 53 times in the HIPAA Act, which it is the word reasonableness. So you're keeping patients' health information protected reasonably. I could do a whole webinar just on HIPAA and the background and the whole deal. So, so
and on the
use your
safe
own
side,
judgment.
if you're uncomfortable with that, just be vague and then get Chris to follow up with you and call you back.
You got it. Okay, Pam, I'm ready for hack number 4.
Okay. Hack number 4, block in advance. I know many of you have a method of how you schedule a productive schedule, which is minor and major. And so there's major blocks and there's minor, and you place those blocks on purpose so that you have a productive schedule where you're able to take care of patients and you're able to take care of each other as well. So you're not running around out of breath trying to take care of patients. So make sure that you block in advance and follow your system. That's hack number 4.
And that Pam, that's one of the things that we noticed, especially over the last 2 years with everything that's been going on, is that it is very, very tempting to abandon the block schedule.
Absolutely.
Because the cancellations and changes in the whole deal, it's like, to heck with the block schedule, just stick them on there wherever we can find time. And we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Yes.
But preserve your block scheduling, because that's what creates a productive schedule. And we'll have one more additional piece there in just a moment. All right, hack number 5. This is one of my favorites. And we talked about this a little bit before, and this is the added piece to this, is always, always, always give patients a choice, not a chance. I don't ever say, oh, well, Pam, can you come in on Monday?
No.
Tuesday?
No.
How about Wednesday?
No.
In other words, I don't ever give her a chance, yes or no. That's not where I'm going. I'm going to give her options. So I'm going to look at my block schedule and see what's available. And then I'm going to say, Pam, for your next visit to get your treatment done, would Monday morning or a Thursday afternoon work better for you?
See, Thursday afternoon will work better.
Perfect, right? So I'm always going to give her a choice between what's available. So again, you look at your schedule and then you give them options based on the times you have blocked in advance that work. Always, always, always give them a choice of when and what to schedule. Sorry about that. All right, hack number 6. Pam,
right, so
what is the 24-hour?
Yes, hack number 6, support the block. When Steve mentioned that it's always tempting to abandon the blocks. In the event that you've exhausted everything that you could possibly do to have a productive schedule, adhering to your blocks. Hack number 6 is there's a 24-hour rule. What that means is you may schedule over the blocks if it's 24 hours, so you don't leave the schedule wide open. Now, that doesn't mean to put 50 crown seats throughout the day. You still want to be mindful of your team, your doctor, and the patients so that you can still take care of everyone timely. So the 24-hour rule starts at the beginning of the day, not at 4:59. That's hack number 6.
Okay. Now, hack number 7, we're going to start with a poll. So here you go. Here are your choices. So the poll question is, which words should you never use verbally or in writing? So they are confirm, remind, cancel, or all of the above. All right, so everybody gets to, oh, did I close it?
Did you close it? I don't think so.
I messed up. That's
Well,
the
if you
first
did,
mistake I've ever made.
yeah, I was going to say if you did, it's the first time you've ever done that in your life.
I did. I hit the button too fast. My apologies. All right. The answer to this poll is all of the above, meaning you shouldn't use any of those. So we never say confirm, remind, or cancel. So and the quick backstory on this, Pam, is if I use the word confirm, that is implying that it was never firm in the first place. So it gives you an opportunity to cancel. If I say, Pam, I'm calling to remind you of your appointment, then I'm implying that you didn't remember, which gives you a way out.
Right.
And then I never use the word cancel anywhere in the practice because that just plants the idea. You can't focus on the opposite of an idea. So you can't ask a person not to cancel because then you planted the idea of canceling in their mind. So if you've got the word cancellation on your appointment card, come on, that's the exact opposite of what you want to do. If you want them to keep their appointments, then let's keep them focused on what you want, not on what you don't want. So we get asked a lot, should I confirm or not confirm appointments? So first thing is we are going to eliminate those words from your vocabulary, written and verbal. You're not going to use those. All right. So with that, here are some suggested text options. Again, Steve, your appointment is at 9:30 on Monday, February 28th. We'll see you then. If you want a response, then you can do the, text Y for yes, and maybe just give them the yes option. Don't give them a no option. Right? You got it. Whether you're calling, texting, emailing, the same rules apply, right? You're not reminding, you're not confirming, your statement of fact. And the message, when we said at the beginning of our time together today, you teach people how to treat you. Again, this is all a process. There's no one thing, but all of these things in combination have a very, very powerful effect. So no confirming, no reminding as far as those words, and then it's all in how you communicate it. Okay, hack number 8 is patient commitment. And those of you that have been with us at the TOPS Total Immersion course, if that's new to you, that is our recommended, should be required training for every member of the team on the best patient case acceptance skills in dentistry. And this is one of my favorite things from Total Immersion. The 2 most powerful words in patient commitment, without giving you the whole backstory, is will you. So anytime I'm scheduling an appointment, here would be a suggestion. I'd say, Pam, if I'm calling, for example, I'd say, Pam, this is Steve from Dr. Jones' office. I'm calling about your reserved appointment with Dr. Jones tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I wanted you to know that we'll have everything set up and ready for your appointment. And we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Will you be here?
Yes.
So the 2 words are will you. If I'm scheduling, Pam's right in front of me, my face in the office. I'm gonna review it, and I say, okay, Pam, your next appointment is scheduled for next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We'll have everything set up and ready to go for you on Tuesday. Will you be here?
Yes.
Just nice, and just it rolls out of you. In other words, I'm asking Pam for a verbal commitment, and there's some big, deep psychology on this as well. You're not telling them, you're having an equal exchange of commitment. I'm committing the time to her, she's committing to be there. So those are two of my favorite words. All right, Pam, hack number 9. How do we prevent financial flu?
All right, Steve talked about this earlier, the financial flu, when patients wake up and all of a sudden they know that they have an appointment and also a payment due, so they don't feel good. And so what we recommend is, as a benefit for the patient, separate the payment from the day of service. So all the patient has to worry about is coming in, receiving their wonderful treatment from you. And then the second, make sure that you always have signed financial arrangements. That way it's never cloudy for the patient of what's expected from them. So those are two key prevention items that will help with the financial flu.
Perfect. All right, Pam, quick question from Dr. Kyler McEwen. Hey, Kyler. His question is that he has a cancellation policy that's part of his new patient paperwork that basically says they do that if they cancel, there could be a penalty fee. So do you suggest a form like this or nothing at all? He says, I like the verbiage discussed so far. Just wondering if we should have something in writing or only verbally to our patients. So Kyler, here's the science behind that. All this stuff has been studied. And what the science says is that fees associated, if you tell people in advance that there is a fee associated with canceling an appointment, that many times you'll see cancellations increase. And here's why. Today, we all value our time more than our money. Time is the highest priority. So if you're going to charge me $50, $100, whatever it is, and if I've got something really important that I got to do, it's like, I'll pay the $50. It's okay. I'm good. Well, there is no cancellation fee that you could ever charge that is going to make up for the lost revenue that you would have in your practice. So our recommendation is get rid of the cancellation fees. It's actually having, at least the science says it has the opposite effect of what you think it does, and implement all these so that you're, again, training your patients that when we have a scheduled appointment, we expect you to be here just like you expect us to be here. So
Absolutely.
thanks for the question.
I'm glad that he asked that question, because I know that many are thinking the same thing. When you charge someone for missing an appointment, it causes friction. And so what we find is when we go into a practice, you see all of the void, which means the practice decided not to charge the patient after presenting it because it causes friction. So thank you for asking that question.
All right, so those are all preventative measures. Now we're going to talk about first aid. After everything that you have done to prevent cancellations, there's always going to be exceptions. So we're going to talk about what to do in the heat of the moment. All right, so quick poll. I'm going to do this right this time, Pam. So which day of the week is the most dreaded cancellation day in the dental office? All right, so here's your choices. Sunday night, Monday morning, the last day of the week, or every day. All right, so you get to vote real quick. Who put these polls together?
It looks like your work.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did. If I did, I won't admit. All right, almost keep going. Your votes are coming in. This is awesome. Thank you for engaging. Everybody's hot on the keyboard. This is great. An engaged audience here, Pam. This is awesome. Okay, so here's how you voted.
Survey said.
All right, so 6% of you said last day of the work week. 6% of you said Sunday night. 29% of you said every day.
There may be some truth to that.
We need to talk. And then Monday morning, right? 58% of you said morning. So that's, it's different for every office, but yeah, Monday morning is one of the most challenging days of the week, just because of what happens over the weekend, right? So here's the suggested after hours message that we continue to recommend. That basically says, thanks for calling ABC Dental. If you're calling and like to reserve an appointment, please leave your name and phone number, and we'll return your call as soon as we return. If you have a dental emergency or a conflict with your scheduled appointments, please call the doctor. That's right. Please call the doctor by calling this number. Our voice message system is not monitored for scheduling changes. Thank you for calling. And I know some of you may panic and say, oh, well, the doctor's got my phone number. Like, come on. So this works. In other words, you make it easy for people to do the things you want them to do, make it more challenging to do the things you don't want them to do. So if there's, an issue that they can't make their appointment, yeah, they're going to call. They need to call somebody, the doctor, to have that conversation. So, from that, you may say, well, here's what I would challenge you. Before you pass judgment on anything, then bam, test it, test everything the way we've recommended, so you can see for yourself. All right, so that is the recommended after hours message.
Nice.
Now, Pam, this is one of the biggest issues now is cancellation calls because I'm sick, I'm short, all the signs and symptoms of COVID or whatever it is. So this becomes more challenging today than it ever has. So you have a whole prescription for this, for the illness remedy. Hit it.
Yes. All right. So the first prescription is reappoint now. When a patient calls and they say they are ill or have symptoms of an illness, you want to think not only just about the patient taking care of them, but you want to think about your entire practice, your team, and then your patients as well. So next slide, Steve. When your patient is well enough to call you to let you know that they are ill, there is a couple more minutes that they can spend on the phone. We recommend that you appoint now so that you are not like this image that you see where you're covered in post-it reminders and an abundance of paperwork. When you reappoint now, we subscribe to Ohio. I know we have a lot of acronyms. Ohio, OHIO, only handle it once. So when you have the patient on the phone, look out in your schedule and reschedule that appointment while you have the patient on the phone so that you can take great care of them. Next slide, Steve.
Don't let them get away. Don't hang up until you've scheduled their next appointment.
Yes, I don't want you to be bombarded with paper.
And all right, so Pam, your T3?
The next prescription is know your T3.
That is not your testosterone level, right, Pam?
Only men are going to talk about that. I'm talking about your T3, and I'll tell you what the T3 means. We're very familiar with the first two T's, which is today and tomorrow, which are the most important days in your dental practice. Today, we've added 2 weeks. So your T3 is today, tomorrow, and 2 weeks. When I talked about earlier that your schedule should never be left unattended, always know when your first primary or minor or major appointment that's available today. Same thing for tomorrow, and then look 2 weeks out. So on that first prescription, when I said Ohio, only handle it once, don't allow the patient to hang up without scheduling the appointment. Knowing what you have available 2 weeks out, you make it really quick so that you're not skimming through your schedule while you have the patient on the phone. So prescription number 2 is know your T3, today, tomorrow, and 2 weeks out.
All right, Pam, you ready for, I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
What are you going to do? But I'm ready.
This verbal skill that I put up on the screen is the one that we suggest, empathetic, and also stay on purpose, which, Pam, if I called and said I got I'm not feeling well, I don't know if I got COVID, whatever it is, you're going to be empathetic, and then you're also, hope you feel better, but then you'll say, so let's go ahead and reschedule your appointment now so we can keep you on track. And then because you know your T3, you can look out 2 weeks and you can reschedule the appointment. Yes. All right. So here's the next one, Pam. I'm calling to cancel my appointment. This is not an illness cancellation. This is just, so here's what I'm doing. You ready for this?
I'm
Let's see
ready.
how good, Pam, this is
Yeah.
Steve Anderson. And listen, I am so sorry. I mean, I really am so sorry, but this meeting came up at work today and, it's my job and there's just nothing so I really apologize and, so I won't be coming today.
Oh,
Now,
Steve.
what do you want to do, Pam? When somebody just pours on, I'm so sorry. What do you want to say?
Oh, shoot. Okay,
Want to
okay.
say? You want to say, oh, that's okay. Okay, so there's a difference between responding and reacting. You don't react, you respond. And here's how, Pam, how you respond. What was the first thing you said?
Oh, not okay, but oh, like, oh, really? But don't act the real.
I love it with the surprise element. Oh,
Like, yeah, we never get cancellation. So, oh,
you
Steve,
can, you have to practice that one, right, Pam? Oh,
yes, not okay, but oh.
got it.
Would you mind if I place you on a brief hold while I pull up your records?
Okay.
Okay. Steve, thank you so much for holding. While I was reviewing your records, I noticed that you found a day that you had the most control over, and it was important for you to have your treatment completed before your high school reunion. Is there any way that you can keep this originally scheduled appointment if we were
Yeah.
able to in it timely?
You're right. I know, it is coming up and I do need, well, you know what? I'll tell the boys I'll have to go golfing some other time.
Okay. All right. So, Steve, I will make sure that we get you in and out, and I'll let Dr. Anderson know that we spoke.
Well, don't tell him.
Don't tell him?
Don't
Okay.
tell him I called. No, I'll be there.
Okay. Perfect. Then I'll see you today at 3 p.m.
You got it. Now, again, there's a sequence here. Put them on hold, look at their record, get all the background, the whole deal. You're taking them back to what they said they wanted. Okay, so that's attempt number one. Now, Pam, let's say that I say, Pam, I just can't come in. I
Oh,
just really gotta reschedule this.
well, Steve, let me see what I can do to find something that'll work for both of us. I know that you said Tuesdays you had the most control over. Is that still the case? What day do you have the most
Yeah,
control over?
Tuesdays are good.
Okay, so if I were to,
Tuesdays are good.
okay, so if I find a Tuesday for you, is that where you have the least likelihood of any interruptions in your schedule? So this won't happen again?
You got it.
All right. I'm going to reserve this. And Steve, if it's okay with you, I know that, and I'm not ashamed of bringing providers in. If this is a hygiene appointment, I'm going to use the hygienist name. If it's a doctor's appointment, I'm going to use the doctor's name. So I'll grab the hygienist. I'm going to let Vanessa know that we moved your appointment and found another time that you have control over, because I know that this would be really important to her to know that I rescheduled you.
Got it.
Okay?
I'll be there.
Got it.
All right. So again, the verbal skill here is just reinforcing the fact that again, this let me see what I can do and all of that, just reinforcing the importance of the appointment. Okay. Frequent offenders, Pam.
There's a VIP list,
Yep.
and
So
I have a couple of those. You want to go for it?
yep.
Okay.
So frequent offenders. So Pam. So if I've done this 3 times, 4 times, what are you gonna do?
I'm not going to reprimand you, and I'm going to use great verbal skills. I'm going to say, Steve, I need your help. For some reason, we've not been able to make any of these appointments work for you like we need to. I just looked back and I realized that we've scheduled this appointment 5 times. What do you suggest we do to get back on track?
Well, Pam, it's just my schedule, and I don't know from one day to the next what's going to happen. I'm on call all the time
Okay.
in what I do in my business. So I get up every morning, and every morning is a surprise. So I'd like to be able to commit, but I just can't. I
Okay.
just never know.
Okay. Got it. All right, Steve, it doesn't happen often, and we do have some patients with schedules just like yours. I have a VIP list that I'll be happy to put you on, and I will personally monitor our schedule. If we have anything that comes available, I'll give you a call and see how you can come, if you can come in on short notice. Would that help?
That would help a lot. Thank you,
Okay,
Pam.
okay, happy to do it.
So this is the VIP list. This is different than the ASAP list. So these are the people that you can call same day because they probably won't show up any other way.
Yeah,
So whether it's a hectic schedule, they just can't keep track of their appointments, or they have short-term memory problems, whatever it is. But again, separate list. But yeah, if they keep doing it, then don't send them a dismissal letter. Don't run them off.
yeah,
You're just going to put them in a different category and treat them differently, right? It costs a lot to get a patient. So, unless short of them just really being verbally abusive and unruly, yeah, we're going to work with them to make it work for them.
make it work.
We have covered a lot of ground in the last 60 minutes, Pam. Here's some recommended next steps quickly. Share this with your team. You'll be receiving an email here later today with a link to the recorded version so you can share this entire webinar with your team. Choose the hack that you'll get started with today. We did 9 of them today.
Good.
Track your success like Pam has suggested. Highlight the save of the day. So as you have successes, saving appointments, highlight those, mention them in your morning meeting the next day so that you can share your successes. And then download the ebook that I am about to share because it has all the verbal skills we've talked about today. So you can scan the QR code, or you can go to this mini website link here. And Pam, when you do that, what you'll see is on your screen, you'll have 2 options. One is to you can click to download the ebook that has a lot of the verbal skills that we talked about today. And if you would like CE credit for today, it has a link for the CE credit. Make sure that you put your name in correctly, exactly as you have it spelled on your CE certificate. And then that will get processed and then emailed to you. It may take a few days for that to happen because it's got to travel through several places to get approval. But there is an hour's worth of CE credit available today when you fill out that form. So we hope that this has been a useful hour of your time today. Thanks for being with us. A
Absolutely.
lot more resources at totalpatientservice.com as well as crowncouncil.com in our seminars and services. So if you have questions, we have the best place to get your questions answered is answers at totalpatientservice.com. Or go to totalpatientservice.com. We have live chat. We have, you can give us a call. We are here to help in fun times.
Yeah.
If there's anything the last 2 years has taught us is how to pivot and how to make it work in just about any set of circumstances. Pam, thank you for your expertise today. You're the best.
Been fun. Thank you, Steve.
And look forward to having you all with us again. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.